welcome to all of our Gold Learning viewers. I'm Fiona Lang Sharp, IBCLC and Director of Communications here at Gold Learning. Well, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Nastassia Davis here today, and she is going to be presenting Navigating Pathways to Breastfeeding Success in the Late Preterm Infant. Welcome to you, Nastassia. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. We were talking a little bit offline, and I know that this topic is very near and dear to my heart. And I'm looking forward to you sharing your full presentation. But for right now, we're just going to chat and give everybody a little bit of an introduction to you. So if you would be so kind to introduce yourself and just tell us where you currently live or what you're doing in your neck of the woods and what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. So my name is Nastassia Davis. I'm a maternal child health registered nurse and a IBCLC. I own Latch Breastfeeding and Lactation Services. I do that now full time, and I am in the process of getting my nonprofit up and running, which is the Perinatal Health Equity Foundation, which is going to focus on addressing disparities in maternal child health and breastfeeding for women of color.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you're very busy then, I can imagine. That's a lot
I
of work.
am.
Yeah. Well, good for you. You'll have to keep us posted on all the events coming up because this is a really important area. And of course, we've had an opportunity to focus on some of the inequities that they are in the region, and so I'll be happy to see and talk about that later on as well. So I want you to just tell me a little bit about this topic because, again, this is a topic that maybe doesn't get enough notice. And so, how did you become interested in speaking to this particular area of late preterm infants?
Well, my previous role was perinatal educator at a local hospital, and we had recently received the new A1 guidelines on caring for the late preterm, and I realized how deficient I was in my knowledge of the late preterm infant. And then subsequent to that, I delivered a late preterm infant, and then really
Oh,
got the lived experience of what that was like and how I had been addressing my patients versus what real life is actually like. And that really made me want to look into that a little bit more so that I know how hard it was for me being an IBCLC. And so I can
right.
only imagine how difficult that is for mothers who don't have that as a background.
Sure. Well, that's fantastic. So this was really a sort of personal experience, and then you recognize some of the issues that
Yes.
you could then learn and pass on, which is just fabulous. So um, hence why, of course, we're all here today listening in. So perhaps you want to share perhaps just a couple of points from your presentation that you're really hoping that the audience will be able to take away.
I think the biggest thing is recognition that the late preterm infant is not a full term infant. That seems to be one of the practices that leads to the most negative outcomes, is that they are often cared for in the same manner as a full term baby. And the fact is, they just behave differently. So, my hope is that the audience begins to recognize that in their own facilities and starts making practice changes so that there are policies in place specifically to address feeding plans and the different needs of the late preterm infant.
Well, that sounds fabulous to me because this is something my mind is just a whirl right now, Nostalgia, thinking about all the things that, potentially the questions that I should be asking, especially, in our facilities locally and then in my own practice as well. What can I do better? That's exactly what I feel now. So this is fabulous. I'm very excited to learn more from you, and I'm, excuse me, I'm appreciative that you've had this experience that you can now teach us all about as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you sitting down with me today and answering these few little questions.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, and as I mentioned, so Nastasia is going to be speaking at our upcoming Neonatal Gold Conference, and so you can find out all the details on our website. She's going to be speaking up as part of our breastfeeding in the NICU add-on package, so be able to add that to your package. Now, for all the dates and times of our conference, the kickoff date is going to be June 4th, and you can find all the details on our website at goldneonatal.com. Well, thank you again to Nastassia Davis for being with us here today.
Sure, thank you.
And thank you to all of our listening audience. Bye-bye for now, everyone.